Welcome into the pound. We're pounding it here. I'm Kramer Sanson along with Jay Binkle. We'll virtual pound it still as we're still in our social distancing.
Yeah,
Virtual distancing. I like
can't wait
that.
till you start fist pounding people, man, because that's my thing, man.
It's like It's like I've actually kind of drawn away from the handshake type portion of even beforehand. I always do. Of course, wrestling wise, you had to shake everybody's hand, but I'm not a big fan of handshakes.
Yeah, wrestling isn't exactly social distancing. Did you used to high five or just handshakes? Like when you were in school, because I'm trying to remember, did I fist bump? Or I can't remember, because I always fist bump now, because you always see somebody anyways.
Yeah, fist bumps. I think
it's kind of like a sign of, whatever. I still do it, to be honest with you.
Fist bumps, head nods, that's what I've done.
Yeah, I mean, virtually they say you're supposed to, I don't know.
Actually, I think fist bumping is a lot safer because of the skin contact.
You're not touching hands.
No hands, because the hands are the dirtiest part, because you touch your phone, you got to adjust the mics. Yeah. I mean, like, there's so many things.
You want to do it, though.
Yeah, it's true. I don't know.
You like see that had a kid, right? So I'm just like, you want to pound it, man. Yeah. Congratulations, man. Boom,
Mm-hmm.
Or it's just weird. What's funny is the other day, I was talking to somebody my age. I'm older than you, Kramer, obviously.
Yep.
And
not by much.
Yeah, you could be my kid, unfortunately. But we were talking. I was talking to just somebody about my age. It was at a bar, and I said, this girl had gone to high school with me, and I said, what would we have done had this happened to us? Because back in my day, Kramer, I mean, people did typewriters for learning typing. I mean, computers were there and accessible, but it was very limited. They were at schools or whatever. But people didn't have laptops or didn't have Wi-Fi. Let's be honest with you. We didn't have Wi-Fi back when I was in high school. So what would we have done? Just gone to the school and picked up like a bunch of dittos? We'd probably fill out dittos out our ass.
You probably need to have this is your schoolwork. You have this entire section of stuff you have to do. If you're in school.
Yeah, but there's no teacher virtual call. I mean, they could do a conference call or something. But you'd be on your home phone. Then your dad or mom would be like, "Man, I need to use your phone. Man, I need to use his phone." I mean, what?
That's the thing too. Even with that, you couldn't actually I don't know. You can't do it because now you can have multiple people on one phone call. Like you have 4 or 5 people. Back then it's just one. So
what do you do? What would we have done?
Honestly,
I know that has nothing to do with anything.
No,
but
exactly. But that's a good question.
But it makes me think what the hell would we have done? I just called school off and been screw it,
I did see something. I know this is clearly on sports related as well.
College, what would you have done?
But
in college, what would you have done?
We would have done anything. Honestly,
just all get A's, man.
I mean, that'd be nice.
Hell yeah.
I would have my GPA nice in college if that was the case. But I just even saw a report of kids that were in this age, whatever they did with doing the homeschooling stuff with virtually wise, it did not work whatsoever in the entire United States. So because nobody was paying attention to it. No, it's a good thing you brought that up. I actually read that
article. High school kid, right?
Yeah.
And she's going to be a senior. Mm-hmm. She was on she's doing summer school and all this, everything's Zoom. These lessons and whatever. And I'm like, how the hell would I have done this?
Yeah, no, I hate online classes.
Put it on a VHS tape, you go home and watch it.
You could get a cassette tape of the audio version for it.
I mean, geez. What would we do?
All right.
Oh, well, it's a different story.
A different story, and I mean, if that was the media that
you know what though, it would have affected sports.
Think about
because they've been doing all these virtual workauts and virtual. You know what? You wouldn't have been able to have a virtual draft.
You wouldn't have, and
no one had those cameras at home, and the coaches wouldn't have had. It would. I mean, it's still been done.
It's true.
But the draft wasn't a big deal when I was in high school. It wasn't televised event it is now.
Honestly, I kind of like the virtual draft.
But you know what I'm saying?
The draft was actually interesting to see it virtually.
All this was sports. It's all virtual. Mm-hmm. Virtual press conference. Pete Sweeney sitting there calling on Zoom.
That's true.
Or watching Zooms. Hell, he couldn't have done that back then.
No, he couldn't have. No, and you mentioned VHSs, which are dead.
Yeah.
And right now, pretty much a league's going to be dead if they don't get anything involved. And with all this COVID and all of them trying to get back to MLB, and Major League Baseball is not coming back this year. That's what my personal take is on that. I don't think this is happening. I do not want this to happen. But a counter proposal of the 49 games, which was stupid. All it was, that's a sprint for a Major League Baseball season. You don't want to do a sprint. The counter proposal of 89 games plus a prorated salaries. The thing that's out of this 89 games is perfect. I bet the owners would love that. It's the prorated salaries is what the owners are probably going to say no to this last proposal. I don't think baseball's coming back, and I want to be proved wrong about this.
Where's your percentage at now? 'Cause we've been doing this. I was at 20, and then I went to 30 last week.
And I went from 25 to 20, and I'm gonna say about a 17%. It's going down
17?
for me.
Where the hell did you come up with that number?
Because I'm not trying to rule it all the way out yet, and I don't think with the owners are not going to agree with what the players are going to agree with. It's going to go vice versa the entire time. Nothing's going to happen, and I do enjoy the aspect of, say, some players are speaking out. I've noticed Whit Merrifield has tweeted out saying, "I'm ready. Let's go. Let's do this." That's a player that wants to play. Or you also look at a guy that's like Blake Snell, the Tampa Bay Rays, who doesn't want to do it because he wants his money. There's two different sides of players right here.
Look at Whit's age.
That's true.
This is a year taken away from him.
But you also got to see players like Jack Flaherty, who's young. He's 20-some years old for the St. Louis Cardinals, who's speaking out against this as well. You even see Trevor Bauer. He's still pretty young as well, speaking about this, saying he wants to play. There's still a lot of players. I think, honestly, from all the MLBPA, is it Tony Clark who's the head of it? I think it's him. He's the reason why nothing's happening.
But here's the other thing, too. And I remember when Tony Clark played for the Tigers. That's old I am. But here's the thing. We're missing a year of Mike Trout.
We're going to
in his prime. I mean, you're missing Mike Trout 1 year in his prime. You know, you're missing Aaron Judge and Giancarlo Stanton. You're missing Nelson Cruz. You know, these aging players, or Albert Pujols that, you know, on his last legs.
He's on his last contract
so
this
to
year.
speak. You see what I'm saying? So we're missing out on that. We're losing things with baseball. And I'm holding a 25% chance. I'm saying a quarter chance it gets done. But here's the problem. This is where the NFL has kind of stepped ahead of the other leagues. They've been forward thinking for years because they make everything a big event. And I'll put this to MLB with this MLB draft is tonight. But I'll kind of equate this. What the NFL said is, well, first of all, move the first round Thursday night. You know, you move the first round, you second and third on Friday.
It's only night.
Used to all be to run together. But they made it an event. Watching the first round of the NFL draft is an event. You know why? Because the NFL said it's an event. And there's not a lot going on. And the NFL basically said, all the attention on us, we're going to make this a big damn deal. And they did. Props to the NFL. They made it a big deal. The NFL said, you know what? The combine was nothing. No one watched the combine. No one watched guys run 40-yard dashes and bench press. They didn't do it. Well, they started putting on digital media. They started allowing people to go. And now the draft or the combine in prime time. You see what I'm saying? They made something that was mundane, something that was different. And here's what the NFL's done. Basically, they've said their league, unlike other leagues, stays relevant 12 months a year. It stays relevant because you have the Super Bowl. Then all of a sudden you're talking about, you know, the Senior Bowl and that kind of stuff. Then you start, like right after the Super Bowl, you're really starting to talk about the draft. And then after the draft, you have mini camps usually, except for virus years like this one. But you have mini camps and rookie mini camps in May and June. And then all of a sudden, you show up to training camp in July. Kramer. And then it's football preseason in August, regular season, September, October, November, December, January, Super Bowls in February. And again, March, you've got the lead up to the combine. Every month, the NFL has said every month in the calendar, they have something. And that's what keeps the NFL raking money. It's the cash cow that it is. Major League Baseball, the draft is tonight. And here's the thing about it. I care about it. You care about it. But you and I also sit in here for the last 68 games doing virtual baseball.
It's true.
Because we enjoy it. Now, I get it. So I've gotten this argument, too, with Major League Baseball. They're so far behind making things an event. In my opinion, tonight, the Royals would have played the Yankees during the draft. Bottom line, they would have been playing. Teams would have been playing during the draft. I liked it when it was on Monday night, and a lot of teams were off. Like last year, like a lot of teams, like the Royals, and a lot of teams were off. Because here's what you do. Major League Baseball has the power. They could do this. They could almost do the draft during the All-Star break. One of the nights where there's nothing going on. And here's the thing about it. I like the fact that they put it on TV. Because, to me, Major League Baseball, this is a learning process for us. Like Nick Gonzalez, that's going to go probably in the top 5. Might even go to the Royals at 4. He plays in New Mexico State. No one knows who the hell Nick Gonzalez is.
Nope.
And especially these high school players, you don't know much about them. But I learn. Like, I don't learn anything watching the NFL draft because I'm such a college football nerd.
So you already know what's
I already know
happen,
what these players can do. I already seen them a million times. I know what they can do. Major League Baseball, it's learning. Oh, I'm gonna learn about this high school kid the Royals just drafted. You don't want to see that. But when you have the beat writers, and this it drives me nuts. The beat writers are writing about the game, and I've seen them do it. Then they'll have a meeting in the hallway or whatever, and it's during the game where they're talking about their draft picks, but they're missing the ball game that they were covering because they're talking about this. Now, if all the beat writers could just be basically talking about the team's first round picks and stuff like that, because you don't trade them in baseball, those picks. And they're writing stories about, instead of the game that night, they're writing stories about the pick. Listen, it's never going to be the same as, because they're JUCO players in college and high school,
Right.
and players from around the world, and you don't know who these players are. But at least it's something. And I'm glad that they've tried it. Remember, they've had Bo Jackson, these people turn things in at that Studio 42 in New York, trying to make it a big deal, but they don't make it a big event. But they could.
Yeah.
And that's my thing with baseball. And I've always had this thing too, Kramer. I know I'm on a little bit of a rant.
You're fine.
But football opening game, Chiefs-Texans. Super Bowl champion gets opening day. They've been doing it since '02. That one year, it just happened to work out that the Royals were playing the Mets, and they put them on Sunday Night Baseball. But that was a freak asterisk occurrence that happened. My thing is this. Sometimes Major League Baseball, it started in Japan before. It started in Australia. Well, other teams are still...
It usually starts in Japan.
And teams are still in spring training. Mm-hmm. Hell, one year they did it in Japan, the Seattle Mariners broadcast crew was in Seattle doing the game. To me, make it a big deal. Have the World Series champion, schedule it around. If it works out that it happens to be an interleague game and they're going to actually play the division like they were on the year the Royals played the Mets. Okay, so play the two teams that are in the World Series. Mm-hmm. Move that series to the opening series, the interleague. And if you're not playing that division, play another really good team that was in the ALCS. So play the team that you played in the ALCS. Make that your opening game and make a big deal out of it. Opening night in baseball, and everybody's talking about it. And have the Brock singers or whatever having concerts out in front of the stage. Bring the stage in. Make it an event. But they don't do it.
No.
Baseball just starts. Sometimes baseball, it used to be always in Cincinnati it would start. But heck, these things are going on in Japan or whatever. Make it an event. Baseball, to me, drives me nuts. Because it is such a powerful marketing tool, and especially the average age of baseball fans are in their 40s, 50s. They're not the younger generation. The other leagues have adapted to that and done things and made it an event.
More appealing to others, like they're out of that generation of ages.
But I just think the NFL makes things a big deal, and the MLB doesn't, and that bothers me. And it's like this COVID thing. You know, NASCAR's making the best out of it, having these midweek races. Mm-hmm. UFC and Dana White, what they're doing, what they're having fights during the week, they're giving you a product. I guarantee you NASCAR has gotten new fans that may follow that sport. Baseball's missing a golden opportunity.
And see, like I've gravitated towards NASCAR. That's something I never thought I would do because, I mean, I used to watch it growing up.
You're a new fan. You're the guy they want.
Yes, and they got me. They got me hooked. It's I'm betting on the stuff now. I'm watching it. It's perfect for me that way to pass the time.
Gamblers love it, Kramer. They were betting on weather.
Yeah,
I'm not kidding you.
Yes,
people you bet on what's going to be the high in Dallas, 86 degrees, and you mean the over/under. People literally were betting on the weather.
And you said that make the events wise. I remember 5, 6, 7 years ago when Ozzie Smith was trying to make that Monday, Sunday, that Monday, nothing open. Everybody just watches baseball. To make it that type of event, and nothing really passed because everybody can't we really can't be doing that. But it makes 100% sense to having the MLB draft during the All-Star break because, granted, I know some people want to take their time, their day off, but baseball is a marathon. We've already said this, and if you're trying to devote everything you've done to baseball, why not do that? You already have your winter months of relaxation. And then, granted, winter meetings are starting to pick up a little bit to where that's a big thing.
It's become more. Keep in mind, the MLB draft was supposed to be in Omaha.
Yeah.
During the College World Series.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be in Omaha. And that was going to be cool because a lot of the players are there. Like when Brady Singer was drafted by the Royals and Jackson Core.
Yep.
You know, they weren't really able to celebrate because they had baseball games. Mm-hmm. So that was cool if they were taking it and playing in Omaha. That was fun. And I like what baseball does. Like this year, the Field of Dreams game and stuff. And when they went to Fort Bragg and played a game.
Yes.
And they played the Little League field. That stuff's cool. But make it an event to where just not the localized markets want to do it. But again, Baseball missed an opportunity here to get the fans back.
I agree.
And instead, it's repelling the fans. And let me tell you why. If they start, forget about 4th of July now. That's 4th of July.
No, because
4th of July is in 3 weeks.
That's the
There's
thing.
a week, another week, 4th of July. It ain't happening.
That first proposal of what they were trying to do today was supposed to be spring training. This was opening day of spring training.
Part 2.
Part 2.
Well,
that was today.
But here's the thing, though. Okay, let's say they finally come together. We're gonna do a season. You know, by the time they play, Kramer, it's July 15th or whatever. It's gonna be mid-July now. There's no way it's gonna be before that.
Mm-hmm.
NFL training camps start. The way they're doing it now is 47 days before July 28th or July 25th. So
people are
that's a
baseball.
10-day window. No. In this town, people love the Royals.
Yes.
Royals are captivating. People will always love the Royals.
But that's just this town, though.
But in a lot of towns, the NFL's king, man.
Mm-hmm.
And people are going to start talking about that. They missed their window.
Yeah.
They missed the window to give us something like the KBO did with Korean baseball that could have been Major League Baseball. And it sucks because I love the sport. I'm not blaming the players or I'm not blaming the owners here. Where the blame is, they couldn't come together.
And that's the thing.
There's got to be a compromise. Because here's the thing. They both have something to lose. The players have something to lose, called fan interest. Owners have a lot to lose if fans don't go back to the game. And again, if their eyes on the NFL training camp instead of the beginning of your baseball's never big at the beginning of the year.
No, because there's too much stuff going on.
And it wouldn't be big in July because it's the beginning of the year. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I just think it pains me because I like baseball so much. I mean, this weather out here. I mean, I know the Royals are in New York tonight, but this is perfect. This would have been ballpark, grabbing yourself a beer and hot dog and nachos and enjoying the game. And to me, it's about seizing the opportunity. Dana White and UFC sees the opportunity. NASCAR's even coming up with their start allowing fans. Mm-hmm. Down in Miami, they're going to have 1,000 service members show up. You know, and then the next race is going to be 5,000. Let me tell you this. By the time that gets to Kansas Speedway, July 23rd, I bet they let half the stands full. I bet they social distance people, but I bet there's upwards allowed about 20,000 people by the time this gets to Kansas Speedway, July 23rd.
And even if Major League Baseball doesn't,
which by the way, nothing's been said.
Yeah, nothing's been said. But even with Major League Baseball coming back, if there's no fans, so be it. We've got TVs, we've got radios to listen to and or watch. You got to think, even if it's baseball, it's still sports for people to watch, and they still have all these TV contracts, these radio contracts. People will tune in. So you can't really think that, we're going to lose money this way. Granted, you're going to lose a lot of money because of concessions and tickets and everything on that sort of line. And you even said players are going to lose something. You said fan interest are also going to lose some money too because they're supposed to get this amount, but it's going to be like either prorated or just a salary cut of we're giving this team $1 million. You got to split it between all 40 guys on your active roster.
It's the antithesis of what doesn't need to happen. Because I'll tell you this, Kramer, baseball is fun to watch on TV, but let's be honest with you, it's a great sport on radio.
It is,
and it's a great sport on your back of your deck, drinking some brewskis, mowing the lawn, listening to the ball. But it is so heavily relied on people going to the park. That's baseball. And families, people going to the stadium.
To make a day out of it.
And when you're not playing in front of people, what you don't want to do is what the NFL has combated, and that's the battle of television sets. Mm-hmm. You know, the product is so damn good between these networks. It's almost, they're a partner of the NFL, but it's kind of a catch-22. Because the product is so good on television with replay and HD and everything else that a lot of people just, let me go to Best Buy and get a, $1,000 TV instead of, buying season tickets. So that's why these teams like the Chiefs, when they did the renovations, they put the Hall of Fame where you can walk through it during the game and do all this. They show highlights of other games because that was one complaint people had. We want to see highlights of the game. And college football started doing that. Because when you go to college football games, you're there the whole day.
Yeah,
and you miss a lot.
You get there at 6 a.m. to start drinking, and
you miss a lot. But baseball's, gosh, they need that generation because the people that are gripping about this are people my age. No offense to you, but people that are gripping about baseball not being back, it's not the 20-somethings. Have you heard them screaming from rooftops to get baseball going?
Unless you're me.
It's people, but people my age.
Yeah,
the people that people listen. Baseball is one of those sports My grandma was the same way. And heck, when I did the day shift show here over on 610, I had people calling in. It became their night ritual. It's like brushing their teeth. They'd flip on the rails. It was the greatest reality show on TV because you could see what Salve was doing and dumping the bucket and what shenanigans he was doing with Lorenzo Kane, and whatever he had became reality TV.
Yep.
But older people would say, we had one lady called us and said, hey, I get home, take off my bra, and she gets some wine and she watches some Royals baseball. That's what people do. But the younger generation, they found other stuff to do now. That sucks, man. This whole thing sucks, Grant.
And everybody's also at the attention spans of a gnat right now because of there's so much that needs to happen at once. And say if it was just that one sport, say if it's NASCAR, I think we might see, because that's the only sport that goes on the weekends currently right now, unless with golf coming up this weekend, we are going to just see people maybe engage more with a certain sport, possibly that way. But the way that baseball is looking right now, it's not going to be that sport because it's not going to be happening. So you're still sticking at 20%, or what was it, 30?
25%. But here's the other thing with NASCAR. They hopped on that virtual train before the other ones did.
Oh, yeah, because they did the virtual iRacing.
Hey, I'm telling you, man, baseball did the thing on YouTube and stuff with the Players Challenge. But you know what? That wasn't doing it on Fox and Fox Sports 1. NASCAR was smart enough to put these simulators in all these guys' houses, and you get to personally see the drivers, and you get to see their personalities.
Yeah.
And they were e-racing before other sports were doing it. They capitalized on it, NASCAR did. So not only did they do virtual e-racing, they got that fan base, the younger generation loves video games, to start watching their product. It's been brilliant what NASCAR's done.
They worked it out properly. And something that's supposed to be coming up as well, starting mid-July, training camps with the NFL, possibly doing that, as it's already just that time span of, okay, training camp's coming. We know this.
Yep.
And, of course, we already mentioned that MLB missed their window, but with training camps, possibly not at location or at location of said either practice facilities or, if you're, say, the Chiefs up in St. Joe. I preferably would like it in St. Joe rather than the training camp facility, not training camp facility, but the practice facility here outside Arrowhead. So I just hope that we at least get an answer sometime soon because there's no answers. They've talked about it.
They said that all teams stay home. Check this out. This is from Adam Schefter. The NFL CBA that was approved in March quietly brought about changes to training camp rules that will affect the summer. Teams used to be required to report to training camp 15 days before the preseason opener. Well, you saw the news today. Preseason might be
delayed.
Shortened.
That's what I meant, yeah.
28 NFL teams must report by July 28th, which is 47 or 48 days before week 1. Now, there's 4 teams that have to report earlier. Those are Chiefs, Texans, Cowboys, and Steelers because of the early game. So technically, those teams, like the Chiefs, have to report by July 25th. Again, that window of when the Major League Baseball starts. So training camp is interesting. What they're going to do to like kind of slow roll it, get the players more acclimated, more training camp time. Now the thing is, there was 22 of 32. We've talked about how many teams go away. So more than 2/3 practice at their home facilities. 22 out of 32 teams. The Chiefs are one of the 10 teams that don't practice at their facility,
Including the Raiders.
And I saw this on Arrowhead Pride, and it was an article by John Dixon. And it made sense. He goes, as we reported last week, it is presently believed that no teams will be allowed to conduct training camps outside their team facilities. So he says, but typically travel different locations. 10 teams could be lobbying the league to reconsider. So maybe that's why they haven't made it official, because 10 teams are trying to lobby. Now, to me, I've been in that Arrowhead practice facility a ton. Where's the locker room space? Because they're talking about this, players need to be 6 feet apart and all this. St. Joe, they still need to figure it out if they do the 6 feet distancing thing, but there's more locker rooms up there. My thing is this: if you have it at Arrowhead, everybody going to stay at a hotel? You going to put on buses? Or are they going to go home? Because if they go home, they're out in the real world, going to restaurants and all that.
With their families and friends coming in.
But when they're in St. Joe, tell me that's not the safest place. Even if you allow fans are not in St. Joe, you still get to a point where to me, it'd be safer. They're at practice. They go air it down and sanitize it and all that.
And they can at least
it
monitor
could be just as safe to practice. To me, it's only 45 minutes from Kansas City.
That's not that far.
It doesn't make any sense. If the Chiefs want to have training camp in St. Joe, they got to be allowed to have some training camp.
Yeah.
Still get the camaraderie with the team. You get all the benefits of that. playing in front of fans. That's great. We love it. And it would have been St. Joe. Those communities like St. Joe thrive on. This is like one big ass St. Patrick's Day. The world champions, going to see Clyde Edwards-Helaire, running back in the first round, seeing Patrick Mahomes and the world champions. Mm-hmm. Like St. Joe and the businesses are the ones that are really going to be missing out here. Because the Chiefs for years haven't drafted like that really flashy guy, except, when they start getting Mahomes and stuff like that. But St. Joe, they haven't had first-round picks, in some of those years. But it's just they're going to miss so many people going up there buying gas, staying in hotels, eating at restaurants.
They've built more hotels in St. Joe because of said
it would be
training
huge,
camp.
Man, they're world champions. Everybody want to go up and see the Chiefs.
Right. No, it's true.
I feel bad for St. Joe.
St. Joe would get hurt from this, but even if, for a fact, say they were going to go to St. Joe, people would still come out of their way to try to figure out or stand out in the distance to see if they can see what's going on in the practice field. Yeah. There's going to be security might be an issue, mm-hmm. but if you're going to take a step away from that, for it to being put the hand sanitizers, make sure the rooms are clean, make sure all that, because they can with those dorms there, you can house the entire Kansas City Chiefs.
You couldn't. You know what though? I mean, this fans not the players they really like the fans at training camp. They love walking down that hill and talking to the fans. They They love the fan interaction.
Always the autograph sessions at the end.
It's gonna be so different this year, buddy.
No, it will. It really will. Colin Cowherd, Fox Sports Radio, is picking the Broncos to win the AFC West, Binkley. And, coming from not as a Chiefs fan, coming from another AFC West team, as in the Oakland Raiders is my team. Well, Las Vegas Raiders, if I want to make it grammatically correct. The Broncos, though, making the AFC West, I know. Did you see the ESPN poll? I don't know the poll. They're redrafting the first round of every single team. And you see Drew Lock being picked. What is up with Drew Lock? Of course, a product of Kansas City.
He should have been a first rounder.
Yeah, no, he should have been.
He could have. He should have been. He could have gone the year before.
That's true.
I've talked to his dad about this and said, "Hey, man, what kind of advice did you get?" Because they had got advice that he'd be a third rounder and all this.
But I think reason why Colin Cowherd is picking the Broncos for this is because of the young gun Drew Lock.
He's a good talent, man. I like Drew. He led the SEC in touchdowns one year with 344. So we led the nation in touchdown passes this year. Colin Cowherd says, "Don't be shocked if Denver wins the AFC West over Kansas City." First of all, I would be shocked.
I would be very shocked.
Drew Lock is the pop guy. Here's the thing people don't understand. The Chiefs have beaten every team in this division 9 out of the last 10 times. The Broncos have not beaten the Chiefs since Peyton Manning was quarterback. To be the king, you got to beat the king.
Yeah, and they haven't done it yet.
To sit on top of the hill, you got to knock the guy off the top of the hill.
And even with Drew Lock's performance against the Chiefs last year, where I think he threw 3 interceptions. They only
only loss was
it was only loss. Yeah,
it
wasn't 40-6. It was the final score, something like that.
I'll say this about Drew, and he's a great kid.
Yeah.
I used to follow him.
I'm not bashing Drew Lock at all in this at all. I'm just saying that the Chiefs. And the Broncos, Chiefs, 9 times out of 10, are you going to pick the Chiefs?
Yeah. In normally situations like that, you're like, well, is he bitter? That was stupid when the Chiefs played the Broncos. Is he bitter the Chiefs didn't take him because he came out of their background? Well, first of all, they have Mahomes. They weren't going to take him. Now, if the Chiefs didn't have a quarterback,
they probably would have done it.
And they missed on Drew Lock, then there'd be a lot of questions. What's going on? But they got Patrick Mahomes. But, listen, I love what Denver's doing. I like Courtland Sutton. Love Jerry Jeudy, that they have a wide receivers. I'm a big fan of the tight end situation in Denver. I love Albert O, that knows Drew Lock very well from Missouri.
Which is, yes.
Noah Fant.
Which probably was the main reason why Albert O was drafted there.
Oh, but Phillip Lindsay, Melvin Gordon, listen, it's a good team. Problem is, coach.
Yeah.
And they're in their second offensive coordinator in 2 straight years. And Drew's used to this because he had 2 straight different offensive coordinators in Missouri when he was there. And I get what Colin's doing because everybody's making sexy picks. But my thing is this. Chiefs won 4 straight divisions. Andy Reid has a 27-3 record since 16 in this division. He does not lose the AFC West.
No.
And we've talked about he either has a bye or a mini bye before all those AFC West road games. The Chiefs have more rest than any team in the NFL this year by days off. The Chiefs own this division. It's getting to the point where forget about the AFC West. Yeah. This is Andy Reid's and Pat Mahomes' division. But 20 of 22 starters coming back with an improved defense. I mean, people are – The Chiefs have the advantage no other team has, and that's called continuity and chemistry with players already know the playbook, know what each other do, have the chemistry down and the timing down. Listen, I like what the Broncos do, but do you think Alberto? Do you think Melvin Gordon? You think Jerry Jeudy? You think that timing is down with the playbook and everything else? No.
No, not at all. Because it's all these brand new guys, and what they had, five picks within the first 3 rounds, I believe, and they have to learn all of that. And there's just so much they have to that's in question for the Broncos, and whether if that defense is going to stay healthy. That's a full season's worth of defense that we've seen Von Miller go hurt. Maybe we saw Bradley Chubb last year be hurt the entire season.
Well, starting center is going to be Lloyd Cushenberry's a rookie. It's a rookie center.
They got a new left tackle.
Again, I'm saying this.
Bowles is gone.
I wouldn't. I think this can be kind of a down year for rookies. Without having rookie mini camps and other mini camps and OTAs, I think it's going to be kind of down.
Yeah, no,
Getting the
I think
playbook
so.
and continuity down. I don't. But it's interesting to see this because this used to be the Chargers. But give me a reason why the Chiefs should when they've dominated. No team in the NFL has won 9 out of 10 against everybody else in their division. It's in the fact that every road game this year in the division, they either have a bye week, official bye week for the Raiders, and then they play those Thursday night games.
Mini buys.
Mini buys.
I'm telling you, I know when we had our, I don't know if it was a 2-hour, 3-hour show.
No.
This is tailored to them. This schedule is tailored to the Kansas City Chiefs in order for them to get back to Super Bowl.
No question.
It's their that's the thing.
Especially this year.
It would be shocking if Broncos actually do win the AFC West because there's no way. No way.
I think they're a 9 or 10 win team, and I love Drew Lock. Great. I really like Drew Lock, but I think he's gonna be a quarterback. But again, there is something. Vic Fangio to me with Drew Lock. I didn't like his comments about Drew Lock after the Canton game last year. I didn't think some of the comments he had about Drew is not something you say to rookie quarterbacks.
No.
And the Flacco thing experiment, I don't think worked out real well with Drew anyway.
No.
But the bottom line is, Andy Reid with Mahomes. Again, we go back to the peanut butter chocolate, the great combination that makes the peanut butter cup. Coach quarterback combination is so important. It is so important. That's why the Packers had it, and then it started drifting between McCarthy and Rodgers. Mm-hmm. But Bill Walsh and Joe Montana and, that quarterback coach combination, Jimmy Johnson, Troy Aikman. And I get it, he won one with Barry Switzer, but that whole quarterback coach combination is so important. Belichick, Tom Brady. Fangio being the head coach is a big consideration in all this.
Yep. No, I agree with you on that. And also, maybe Colin's trying to get to. They
have to have something to talk about.
He's got something to talk about, and it's something for us to talk about as well.
Sure.
Because then we always get this headline of picking against Mahomes, and that's pretty much what's happening right here. I can honestly see the Chiefs are the new team in the AFC West to beat. We already know this. It's kind of like how the Patriots used to be the entire time.
Yep.
Everything has to go run through Tom Brady. Right now, everything's running through Patrick Mahomes, and that's the thing. This is it's gonna be his 4th year in the league. And that's already the topic right now, which is very scary. You should not be picking against Patrick Mahomes unless we see a failed season by him. We have not seen that yet.
Well, here's the thing. The Patriots, teams drafted to beat the Patriots.
Mm-hmm.
The Chiefs have kind of drafted how to beat the Patriots. Steve Spagnuolo was brought in here to beat the Patriots.
Yeah.
The Chiefs were making business decisions to beat the king on top of the hill. And that king was the Patriots. Well, they knocked them off. And they lost that AFC West, or they lost the AFC title game to them the year before.
Yep.
And they prolonged that dynasty one more year. And I'll be honest with you, I do think if the Chiefs would have won that game in 2018, that the dynasty would have been dead.
Yeah, no, I agree.
People have been talking about Tom being done.
Because he signed those one-year deals.
Would have been done.
Yeah.
The dynasty would have been done, and I think the rebuild for the Patriots would have started a year earlier had the Chiefs won that game. But the bottom line is the Chiefs are now that team. Mm-hmm. Just like all the reports you got from the Senior Bowl, down in Mobile, teams are looking at players with the Chiefs in mind. How do we stop Mahomes? How do we stop Andy Reid and Tyreek Hill and this electric offense? Mm-hmm. Teams drafted.
It's true.
On stopping the Chiefs. And the Chiefs are 1A. And you could put the Baltimore Ravens at 2 or even 1C. I wouldn't put them at 1B yet. I think they still got to learn. Lamar Jackson's 0-2 against Mahomes. So they've got to get over that hill. I think they will. I mean, Lamar Jackson's numbers in that playoff loss were ridiculous, his rushing and passing numbers, even though they lost. But anyway, the best quarterbacks in the AFC, it's Mahomes, it's Lamar, it's Deshaun Watson. I'm willing, excuse me, I'm willing to say at this point, I'll give Drew Lock the nod because he's got experience. But Joe Burrow could be that guy as well. When we talk about the top 5 quarterbacks in the AFC, I want to see what Joe Burrow had his 1 year, but it was magical as hell. And he took LSU's offense that was doing things that we haven't even seen from the Law Techs of the world that started the spread offenses, what he did at LSU last year. But I'm saying he could get in that echelon. He could. I don't think Baker's going to do it.
You gotta put Roethlisberger in before said either Drew Lock or for Joe Burrow.
I'm talking about the young guns, the future of the AFC.
Yeah, but
the future of the AFC.
I don't think you can go 5 because there's literally we already know who the 3 are.
Justin Herbert. I didn't even like Herbert coming out.
I want to see if you want to think a young gun. I mean, Herbert might be one.
Maybe
apparently a huge arm, rocket for an arm.
But he went against what Anthony Lynn wanted in the quarterback.
Yeah, exactly. I got to see Joe Burrow. I want to see Joe Burrow transition. I need to see a full season of Drew Lock. And for me to give that to you, like, okay, yeah, the Drew Lock's the next big deal. You know
is it too early for you to say he's the second best quarterback in this division?
Oh, it's way too early. It is
I don't know,
too
though.
early.
I don't know, though.
If you want to look at numbers and also win-loss record, I mean...
If you had Justin Herbert, Tyrod Taylor, and Derek Carr, Marcus Mariota, I would take Drew Lock over all of them.
I'd take Derek Carr. I would take Derek Carr.
Oh, my, as you stare at me with your silver and black sunglasses.
No, but I'm serious.
Derek Carr can't win in Kansas City, bro.
Neither can Drew Lock.
No, he's had one chance.
I know, but still, from what we've seen already right now, he cannot win in Kansas City. It's tough. You have to beat. If you say, oh, you got to beat Pat Mahomes, you got to beat Andy Reid. You have to beat Andy Reid before you can beat Pat Mahomes.
I'm just saying, Drew Lock might be the second best quarterback. I mean,
and guess who has beaten Andy Reid? Derek Carr.
In Oakland, and the Chiefs were 7-3, the Raiders were 0-10, and they did squeak one out of their butt.
But did they beat Andy Reid?
Yes, they
did. As Drew Lock beat
Andy Reid.
That's
the 1 year. No. The 1 year. That sent, I'll never forget JT the Brick coming on our show. He said, the Raiders, he was calling for the Raiders to win. And they're 0-10. He goes, the Raiders win this game, the Chiefs will not make the postseason. At this point, the Chiefs were 7-3. And you know what? The Chiefs still had a winning record because Andy Reid's always had a winning record.
And that wasn't even Derek Carr at the quarterback.
I know, but they you know what? They snuck one. They got it. But the Chiefs are still beating the Raiders 9 out of 10. And Derek Carr can't win when it's less than 40 degrees.
I guess we'll have to find out this year.
That's a problem.
Well, that's the thing.
And he doesn't play well there. It's a problem.
Here's the thing. When he does play at Arrowhead this coming season, it will be above 40 degrees.
I'm not sure Mariota won't be playing against the Chiefs this year.
It's not going to be Mariota. It's going to be Derek Carr.
How do we know?
Honestly,
who's the more accomplished quarterback in their careers? Well, because he won Heisman.
Derek Carr. It's going to be Derek Carr. No. In his career, no. You can't lump in college and NFL.
I know, dude.
You can't do that.
I said who's more accomplished? It's Mariota. But, dude, they're not great, neither one of them.
Nah, Derek Carr is 100% better.
I love the Raiders drafts. I love what Mayock's doing. I freaking love the wide receivers for the Raiders.
Two of the wide receivers.
Freaking love the wide receivers for the Raiders.
Well, I don't know if you've noticed this, but two of the wide receivers for the Raiders says Henry Ruggs punctured his thigh and something almost lacerated an artery, which would have been terrible. Lynn Bowden today was arrested with all the stuff.
He wasn't arrested.
Not arrested.
He
had the DA there, but I mean, it wouldn't surprise me.
But he wasn't arrested or charged.
Which is good.
I don't believe anybody's arrested or charged, which is great. 2-time Ohio Player of the Year. I'm a huge Lynn Bowden fan.
I love the guy.
Listen,
I love this guy.
He led the SEC in rushing last year. Listen, the Raiders have talent on the ass. I don't think Chucky is happy with their quarterback situation.
No, listen. This is exactly the Raiders had a great season last year. You can't tell me they didn't. It was something that I thought was even like I had.
People were talking about them winning the division.
Well,
until they pissed on themselves.
No, until Antonio Brown started being an idiot. Like
No, they were good for a while there
no,
in
they
the
were.
season.
No, they were. But if they would have had that number one wide receiver, they would have been a lot better.
See,
Trust me.
no,
You gotta
I'm
trust
with
me
you.
on that.
No, I'm with you on this. When they signed Antonio Brown, I thought it was unusual because I didn't think they were ready for primetime yet. But you know what? As the season progressed and they started playing good football, all before that Jets game, I think that derailed them. What was that score in the Jets smashed them, didn't they?
Yes.
And they were
was
playing
like 31-13.
Yeah, they were playing good football until the Jets game. And I was thinking to myself, man, if they had Antonio Brown, balling for him, this team would be good.
Last year, they were on the road for 5 weeks straight, and that was including a London game.
I just didn't think they needed Antonio Brown because his team was young and up and coming and, building themselves to the draft. And Waller's one of the 8th highest paid tight ends. I mean, he's really showed out.
Oh, yeah.
I like the Raiders' talent. Josh
you
Jacobs,
got
all
it.
that. Hey, man, they've been rolling that Alabama train.
Which is good. It's perfect. Moving on now, so we got some more stuff in here to cram into the show. NBA's day is to start back on July 31st. NHL said they were going to. NHL's been quiet for about 2 weeks, which is kind of scary.
And I'm excited about it because I was talking to some big hockey fans. They're excited about this tournament. Because here's the thing: usually everybody limps into the Stanley Cup playoffs. I mean, limps.
No, everybody's gonna be healthy.
They got the beards and they have bad ankles and everything else, but they're gonna be.
It's
going to be fast-paced, freaking 3-month vacation hockey. I'm a little bit concerned that it might just suck too because they've had all this time off.
I don't know about that.
Hopefully, not sitting around drinking beer and eating like I am during quarantine.
But with NHL coming back, I think they have to do this before for the NBA to start. They have to get something done. Whether it's tomorrow, whether it's the Monday of next week, they need to give us a date because I feel like the NHL has the most to gain out of NBA or MLS, which is going to come out on July 8th. They had the most to gain because they could possibly grab a lot of new fans to watch hockey. And if they're going to wait past July 31st, well, you're screwed already.
I think they're like baseball. There's going to be all this going on, and no one's going to give a rat's ass because NFL training camps.
I don't know. I think that in NHL, do you think they're going to go before or after?
I mean, I'll watch the hell out of it. It's going to be fun as hell.
It's our stuff. It's our things that we watch.
But again, I think kind of like Major League Baseball, they sat on their hands a little too long.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I think all of them.
I think they all have.
I think
it's granted for the NFL, they weren't in season at all during this time.
No, it was perfect for the NFL.
They're just
this whole thing. They've just been sitting and waiting in the weeds, letting everybody else kind of show them the way. What are they doing? How can they? I mean,
how can we adapt and
the virtual draft was a freaking success.
It was. I liked
that.
That
was a wonderful thing.
Actually, I want to cover at least one of them in person, but if it's like that for the rest of its time, I'm fine with it. It doesn't bother me. Yeah, MLS July 8th in Orlando. I think it's going to be a nice aspect of bringing MLS players and NBA players together, I guess.
It's going to be cool because they're going to have a tournament, like an MLS tournament, which the games will count in the standings.
Yes.
And then they're going to go back home
and play
and have a revised schedule of games. So I think they're doing it right. But again, they were never top of mind anyway. They just do the thing. It's a niche sport with the fans that really like soccer. I mean, I wouldn't. But again, I think, and they have a plan, and they put their plan forward. And I appreciate that with the MLS. But again, I think they kind of missed the boat a little bit.
Yeah, they because should start a little sooner.
Yeah, because like the whole NASCAR buzz and all this, because MLS is really in that stage now where they need fans. They need to get people, instead of just watching Sporting KC play, they need people to watch. The New York. They need people to watch
Portland
regional
Timbers
games
and stuff.
Chicago against New York. They'll watch
the
Sporting
Dynamo versus,
and that's what baseball. It's regionalized too, where people may not really care about the Yankees, Red Sox, and they just can watch the Royals.
Yeah,
but the NFL's different because you watch all the teams, and just watching your team
this one day.
Yeah, so
interesting. Let's go some oddities right now. Fight Island is going to be happening. They got. Kudos to Dana White. He got this island, and
he's been wanting that damn island.
Is it going to be a beachfront type of fight scenery? Which you know how fun that would be. Like you hear the waves crashing.
Sipping martinis and or pina coladas.
I've watched a lot of UFC, and I think I enjoyed a lot better with no fans because of the aspect of you hear. I mean, of course, during the actual UFC fight when there was fans, you would hear the guys in the corners talking to each other in between rounds. But it'd be like kind of piped in the audio a little bit more. Now the the fighters can hear the commentators like call out stuff and like, oh yeah, he's doing this that right there.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I like their Vegas thing they have.
Biggest thing they have is solid. I'm pretty sure that's where they even had the Ultimate Fighter stuff at, where they had a little mini series and stuff. Another thing is here. Somebody broke into Miller Park recently.
Yeah, how about that?
Commandeered a tractor and tried to carve their name into the field, Binkley.
I'm surprised it hadn't happened more.
Okay, so how much Miller did he drink at Miller Park's the real question.
A lot.
2, he must know what he's doing if he had to commandeer a tractor and tried to carve his name. 1, did he think he'd get away with this, even though, like, say he did this, and say he actually, like, spelled out, I'm just going to throw up, what if it was Brett Phillips? We're just going to use him as an example. He's out in Miller Park, he's going to just type in Brett Phillips or write in Brett Phillips in that tractor and leave. No one's going to really know who did it unless they read who it is. Oh, Brett Phillips did that. Well, how smart is this guy going into breaking in, getting caught, of course, but trying to also put his name in the field?
Some workers started recording him, so we decided to show off.
Okay, so that's what happened.
Show off the skills. The Brewers described the damage as minor and said there was zero indication Lambert's actions. He just walked in there.
How do you just
water
walk?
on the playing field, told police he decided to commandeer the tractor because he had never driven one before. Hey man, props to him, man. He get bored.
At least he was brutally on.
That's the only action that park's seen.
Who didn't? That's true. Who didn't lock the doors? The real question.
How many people are living in Major League Parks now? I once read something in college where someone decided to spend a weekend in Walmart.
And just try to get caught.
24 hours a day. They would go sleep late at night in lawn and garden.
Yeah, because
they'd walk around and make food or whatever. They'd go to Subways that are in there or whatever. And their whole goal was to write a paper by living in a Walmart for 48 hours until they got kicked out. You know, they found themselves rearranging shelves and stocking and making things look good. But
which that's nice. That's nice
yeah,
that they would at least help out a little bit. I mean,
but how many people are living in Major League Parks now?
I'd highly doubt. If it's safe,
there's nothing to eat.
No, unless you find the
old food,
the old buns and stuff that's probably molded.
Good.
Another one here, sticking on the Major League Baseball. TV and radio road games. They're gonna have their local broadcast teams either in studio or at home to do the games with monitors. Which is, I mean, we've seen that already with KBO. How the ESPN broadcasts are just piggybacking off. I think it's SPTV. And which that's a Korean-based television company, South Korean-based television company. So we're seeing it now work, but there's a lot more that you can take away from being at the game because, say you're just seeing a monitor, you have to look at, okay, the outfielders are shifting over to the right as they're expecting a pull, or even if it's a right-handed batter and they're shifting over to the right and they're expecting him to be late on it, or he's going to push it over there. There's a lot of little details you're missing when you're going to do these broadcasts from home with just monitors.
Yeah, and they'll still do the home games.
Yeah, of course. They'll do the home games
I
live.
assume most of the crews would still go to the stadiums for road games because of all the equipment's there. Mm-hmm. Just watch on the Jumbotron or whatever. It can be done. ESPN really started doing this with college basketball. Like K-State games, or they'd be broadcast back from Bristol. You and I sit here and do virtual baseball, home and road. It can be done, Kramer. You and I sit here, call 9-inning games of virtual baseball.
Indeed,
the only thing we see is what's on the TV. So it can be done. It just loses a little bit of that magic because you know that they're not there.
Yeah, I know.
You know, to me, that's weird. And I don't agree with it. Why not let them just go with the teams? They fly in the back of the plane. Just take your broadcasters with you, man.
No, I agree.
I mean, take the. What's the difference, man? Take the broadcasters. You know, they're people too, Kramer.
They are.
That's us.
They're part of, and they're part
Maybe
of the team.
it's because you and I are in this profession that we have sympathy for the broadcast. Take
true.
them. Let them go.
Questions that we received from via the Twitter. Pete Sweeney says, if Mahomes was the Royals closer back in 2015, would they have won the World Series?
Yes.
I think so, too.
I mean, I don't know.
I don't know. That's true, too. Because
I don't know.
Madison Bumgarner was huge during that World Series and that entire postseason run.
Well, I think he was talking 15, weren't they?
Yeah. That's right. That's right.
The year they won it.
Yep, that's against the Mets.
They beat the Mets 4-1 that series. Man, I don't know. I mean, I assume with the good spring training and Mahomes has a golden arm. I don't know. He plays on our virtual Royals team, but we have him hitting home runs.
That's the thing. I don't think they could have that bullpen was lights out. I think you could put anybody back
We
there.
make a joke about it, but those guys were some of the HDH was the best it's ever been, and to just say that, hey, can the quarterback from the Chiefs come out and those guys are the top of their profession at their game, and to say a football player can do it just as good as a trained professional, it's pie in the sky. I don't think it would have been as on lockdown as 7th, 8th, and 9th.
Correct.
I mean, I want to say yes, but I mean, I don't know, Kramer. I'm going to say at this point no, only because
I would say yes, because if it was a full season worth, and he was also, cause he pitched in college. He was a relief pitcher.
He was good. So was Jameis Winston. He was a closer at Florida State.
I still think Jameis should have went baseball route, but
he was good.
That's different. That's another topic for a different story, different day. So, but I think he could. I think Mahomes would. Another question we had from
that bullpen was nasty, bro. I always likened the Royals bullpen to have something we didn't have, and that's a franchise quarterback.
Yeah, true.
Like an Aaron Rodgers, because the Royals had something that other teams didn't. I don't know, man.
I still think they would have if Mahomes was the closer. They would have. I'm telling you, they would have.
I don't know. I don't know. It's hard to say, Kramer.
Travis Stuckey also tweeted us out saying, favorite road game to attend, either from this NFL, NBA, MLB, NCAA, or NHL stadium that's not local. So it can't be like Royals, Chiefs, Blues, Cardinals, stuff like that. So what was your favorite road game you've witnessed in person?
I enjoyed Cincinnati.
Yeah.
I just really like that ballpark on the Ohio River. I think it's neat to have the river right behind you, and I like the bars and restaurants around it and stuff. Mm-hmm. And the beer selection I thought was really nice. I'm going to say baseball, Great American Ballpark. I've been to Raymond James. I would say that went to the old Foxborough, so I mean it was a good atmosphere, but it wasn't very aesthetically pleasing. Mm-hmm. I haven't been to a bunch of NFL places. Been to more baseball. I would say Tampa Bay for football and Cincinnati for I'd say Cincinnati tops.
So if you want to put this in perspective for me, I've only been to 2 NFL games. I'm both at Arrowhead. A handful, a lot of baseball games. I think the one that stands out to me the most was when I was younger, going to Turner Field. It was like a complete accident that we did that. We were going to go to Orlando, Florida. Things happened. We ended up having to drive back, and we ended up passing through Atlanta. There was a game. The Phillies and Braves were going. I was probably about maybe 8, 9 years old, getting to watch at Turner Field because it was a cartoon. Because Cartoon Network kind of had a little bit of stake into it because it's TBS and stuff that also has their stake in with the Braves. And it fit me perfectly as a kid. Got to watch baseball. Got to watch Ryan Howard hit a home run. Got to watch Chipper Jones hit a home run. It was pretty cool at the time. So I'd say
I went to a game in Atlanta when I rode 13 tickets in the outfield, and that happened to be first row. First row was 13.
Oh, nice.
And I like the fact that they had players talking from the clubhouse to fans.
Oh, yeah.
And they'd answer. But the only problem with that ballpark, it's already gone. Mm-hmm. It opened right after the Olympics.
Yep,
it was built for the opening ceremony, so it wasn't. I wouldn't say the ballpark was great because it's already changed now. It's football.
Yeah, well, it's
so SunTrust looks better than that was.
Well, I'm just saying, for as a kid, that aspect of going there, doing that was probably mine. I mean, I've been to Fenway Park, so I mean the atmosphere and stuff. I mean, for favorite though, it has to be Turner Field.
Fair enough.
Pink, I think it's time to close the Pound.
All right.
The Pound's going to put put the gates on, chain it up, and everything. Thanks for watching / listening to however you're listening to this. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe on YouTube. Make sure you also ask us questions. We'll always answer them as we see these. We got ours from Twitter. Put them in the comment section down below. But for Jay Binkley and myself, Kramer Sansone, the Pound is closed.